We won the debates, the Miami debate, the Newsom debate, the News Nation debate, the CNN debate. We did televised town halls, got great response.
But
we went to all
you didn't win a
99
single
counties.
county, right? I mean, in 99 counties, you didn't win a single one. You visited them all, to your credit, but you didn't win a single one.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering. America. Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. And then there were two. Governor Ron DeSantis, he's out. He suspended his campaign, leaving only Donald Trump and Nikki Haley to vie for the Republican nomination for president. And that's crazy to say, given that just a year ago, right around this time, Ron DeSantis was the golden boy of the Republican Party. He had just won Florida by over 20 points. He was riding high. What happened here? What the hell happened? That's what we're going to be asking in this video. But before we get to some analysis of the fall of Ron DeSantis, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video on this channel, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all of that feeds the YouTube algorithm.
What?
Feed me!
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for all that you do in helping to grow the channel. Last week was an awesome week. So many new people were chiming in the comments. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for all you do to support the channel. So we're asking the question, what the hell happened with Ron DeSantis' campaign? It seems to be a combination of different things that I'm going to walk you through. So let's get into some analysis right now. Let's time travel back to January of 2023, about a year ago. Ron DeSantis was riding high after a 20-point victory in Florida, and he was the golden child of the Republican Party, the last great hope to unseat Donald Trump as the leader of the party. He had done a spectacular job campaigning in Florida, and there was no reason to think that those popularity numbers and that sort of campaign machine wouldn't translate over well into a presidential campaign. As you see, right around the end of January, like this time of year, Donald Trump was doing his lowest numbers in the polls, around 42%. Ron DeSantis was up over 35%. It was about a 7 or 8 point difference between the two at this point. But Ron DeSantis was not announcing that he was running for president, either because it was so hot off the heels of the Florida governor race that may leave a sour taste in some people's mouths, or because maybe he wanted to be more statesmanlike and not recognize Donald Trump as the front runner and act more like a professional politician than a professional campaigner. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was all over the place talking about Ron DeSantis, the sanctimonious, you remember those things, talking about how he made Ron DeSantis and it was his endorsement that got him over the top when he first ran for governor. You remember all that stuff.
Flashback.
So Ron would have not been governor if it wasn't for me. Well, then when I hear he might run, I consider that very disloyal.
Called DeSantis, quote, Meatball Ron, a reference to him being Italian, I suppose. Going on to say Jeb Bush is his hero, his beaches and state were closed for long periods of time. His testing for the China virus, this is in Trump's words, didn't work out too well, and his loyalty skills are weak.
Did anyone ever hear of the sanctimonious? Ron was a disciple of Paul Ryan, who is a rhino loser who currently is destroying Fox and would constantly vote against entitlements.
End of flashback.
And over time, without DeSantis announcing that he was running, as you see on the graph, the gap began to widen. So much so that questions began to emerge in April as to whether or not DeSantis would be running based upon the widening gap between him and Donald Trump.
Governor, old show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
That wasn't the best comment from Ron DeSantis back in Japan in April of 2023, and the facial expression was a sign of things to come on the campaign trail. That being said, the vacuum that DeSantis created led to a greater divergence in the poll numbers. Trump was now over 50% in April and started to gain momentum, while DeSantis had dropped below 30, creating about a 20-point gap between them. It was not looking good at this time. DeSantis had to basically shit or get off the pot. He needed to make a decision about whether to run or not, and the conventional wisdom was that DeSantis would get a bump when he announced that he was running for president, if and when he did that. And he did so a month later in a very revolutionary way in a Twitter space on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days. And that glitch-filled effort did not help Ron DeSantis. The bump became a blunder.
Great. All right. Well, it's certainly an incredible honor to have Governor DeSantis make this stark announcement.
Are you there? Can you hear us? I think you broke.
I'm here.
I know. I think you broke the internet there. We had over 500,000 people in one Twitter space, and it was growing by like 50,000 a minute. So, congrats on breaking the internet there.
I am running for president of the United States.
Oh yeah, that was pretty awkward. The DeSantis hopefuls were still holding out hope that there would be a bump from this announcement, even though it was glitch-filled and it didn't really work out. They thought that it was different and innovative, and it showed a tone for the campaign. But as you see from the numbers, Trump was still riding high. He was gaining momentum, up 4 points from when we saw him last in April, and DeSantis was cratering down to around 20%. And if you look from May to July, there's no bump. It never manifested. It never showed up. Now, Trump maintained as well there, but DeSantis never gained ground. He never found his footing. And it didn't help that Trump wouldn't engage in the debates starting in August and September and going forward, so that Ron DeSantis could score some points against an anonymous Donald Trump. You would think the vacuum theory would work in reverse, except that Trump was always talking about himself and his other opponents outside of the walls of the debate stage. He didn't create a void. He didn't allow a void to happen. By this point, it seemed like it was not too late, but DeSantis still had money, and he still had people, especially in Iowa, where he was going all in. So what happened in Iowa? Let's talk about that next. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So to be fair, I'm not going to put words in Ron DeSantis' mouth. Let him explain what happened in Iowa and why he fell so far behind Trump when people started voting this year.
I can tell you this, though. If you look at Iowa, we did it right. I mean, we got the endorsement of the governor. We won the debates, the Miami debate, the Newsom debate, the News Nation debate, the CNN debate. We did.
Now, I mean, that's his point of view on all that, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he won all the debates. He certainly got the endorsement of Kim Reynolds. That's true. So why did he come up so short? Let's see what he has to say.
Televised town halls, got great response.
But you
went
didn't,
to all
you didn't win a
99
single
counties.
county, right? I mean, in 99 counties, you didn't win a single one. You visited them all, to your credit, but you didn't win a single one.
Woo! That's going to leave a mark.
Oh, that's an awkward pause. Neil Cavuto is cutting him to the quick. You didn't win a single county in Iowa. That's pretty bad. He put a lot of money into Iowa. He's going to let you know that as well in this interview. But you put all these eggs in the basket, you come up second, and I guess that's good. Let's see how he gets out of this.
But I also had, how many people would have been able to handle $50 million in ads? How many people would have been able to handle all the headwinds we did? I mean, we had a very uphill battle. We dug in and we executed and we did run hard. We did do well. And what we got was traditionally what is considered good in a caucus. Nobody's gotten 50% before. This is something where you have a de facto incumbent president. So we're proud of the effort that we did there. I think we did it right. It was a challenge. I mean, we're facing challenging circumstances, but you got to play the hand you're dealt, and you got to do what you can do to be able to amass support.
Pretty lame, Milhouse.
That sounds like a loser's speech. I did my best. No one could have done what I've done $50 million in ads. $50 million in ads, and you're still behind, 30 points? How is that an accomplishment? Managing the flushing of money down the toilet, and you couldn't produce a result. That actually is disqualifying for being president of the United States. The problem here was, as I said earlier, the early definition by Trump of what his campaign was going to be, defining it before DeSantis could define himself, led to his downfall. He couldn't recover from that, and he kept making misstep after misstep. And as the campaign wore on in the summer, where he was winning all these debates that he was saying, the trolls were out. Remember the whole thing about the cowboy boots that he was wearing? Let's revisit that for a second. Now, this is a clip from Patrick Bet-David's show where he interviewed Ron DeSantis, and just watch the answers that DeSantis gives here in response to Patrick Bet-David rightfully questioning him about some of the rumor and innuendo, some of the political shop talk going around about Ron DeSantis' boots, the trolling efforts, if you will, of Ron DeSantis.
I'm sure your marketing team points out how they're trying to troll you in the marketplace. Okay, I'm sure they're doing that. Can you bring this one clip? I know you were on, what do you call it? On, what was it? Bill Maher, and Bill Maher talked about the boots. I've seen you walk with these boots. Go ahead and play this clip. This on TikTok went viral. It doesn't have 1 million views. It doesn't have, 10 million views. This thing's got 1.2 million likes.
Yeah, it was a successful troll talking about whether or not Ron DeSantis was wearing heels or something like that. Like that matters in the grand scheme of running the government. But this is presidential campaign politics. These things actually resonate within the electorate. It's kind of the stuff that I'm fighting against by trying to make people focus on substance. And let's not make a mistake. Ron DeSantis was a very good candidate on substance. He knew his stuff. He had a proven track record of results. But it's stuff like this that was his downfall. He didn't recognize the cultural influence on voters from TikToks, from social media, and all these things that people were pointing out.
And some people are wondering,
what are they? I don't even. I haven't seen that.
They've not shown this to you. Okay. No.
How did you not know?
He's not seen that, which means his own campaign team was either keeping from him or ignoring the cultural influences and the cultural perception of Ron DeSantis from him. It's not a good thing for a candidate to do. Good, bad, and indifferent. A candidate should be aware of all things. They should be able to talk on policy. They should be able to be likable. They should be able to smile. We saw that picture in the beginning. This is all part of running for president. Fair or not, Ron DeSantis let other people define him, whether it be Donald Trump early on or the trolls in media and culture and social media later on. Ultimately, as we know, DeSantis dropped out over the weekend. I'm going to give him the final words here, and let's hope he doesn't screw it up.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory.
Okay, so far so good. I mean, it's telling the truth. He didn't have enough juice. He didn't have the money. He didn't have the people to keep going. He's bowing out with some dignity here. I like this.
Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge.
Again, very, very good. This is what you need to hear. He's coalescing behind the front runner, being Donald Trump. This is fine. This is good.
He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
Impressive. He's not only chosen to throw in his lot with Donald Trump, he has given the anti-endorsement to Nikki Haley, much like Rand Paul did, much like Vivek Ramaswamy did. Even Tim Scott has endorsed Donald Trump over a former governor of his home state. So, seems like everybody's falling in line there. All right, take it home, Ron DeSantis. You have your final moment now.
Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
He blew it. He blew it. I know it sounds good from the outside looking in, but he blew it there. That's not a Winston Churchill quote. If you go online right now, you'll find that in researching the words of Winston Churchill, both in speeches and in writings, he never freaking said that. So, once again, to put a fine point on it, Ron DeSantis started out weak, he ran weak, and he ended weakly. It's not a good look for him, and it certainly is a precipitous fall from the golden boy of the Republican Party to a laughingstock within the Republican Party. It's sad to see. I hope he's able to rehabilitate himself over the past year, and who knows? 2028 seems far away, but in political years, maybe it's not so much. But listen, hey, that's just my opinion of Ron DeSantis. I don't wish him ill will. I wish him well in his journey as governor of Florida. He's done a great job down there. But tell me what you guys think about the DeSantis presidential campaign. Was it a missed opportunity? Should he have announced earlier? Would you have made the same decisions that he made? Let's talk about it in the comments. And please, like and share the video with your friends, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Let's keep having these great conversations that we've been having over the past couple of days, every day, this week, in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.